MLB insider Jeff Passan just dropped a bombshell Red Sox report on Alex Bregman getting traded away from the Red Sox at this year's trade deadline. We'll give you the possible landing spots for Breggy and all that Passan had to say right here on Red Sox Digest. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. I appreciate you joining us. If you're new here, go down there and hit that subscribe button. We're covering the Bo Sox 365 days a year. Okay, so let's talk about this and the sticky situation that the Red Sox have once again put themselves into. We're about midway through the season at this point, and the Red Sox are once again around that 500 area because, of course, they are. The trade deadline is coming up on July 31st, and because they're in that 500 area, they have put themselves into a spot where, are they buyers? Are they sellers? They're in that gray area of, I don't know which one they are. Now, if you look inside the organization, they believe this team is good enough to be a playoff contender, in which I also believe, especially once Alex Bregman comes back. I believe this team is a playoff contending team, and honestly, I think they have a shot to go and win a playoff series or two as well. But that's where Jeff Passan in comes. You see, Passan is the MLB insider of MLB insiders, if you don't know him, and he released an article talking about the top 50 trade deadline candidates. And according to this article, he must have some inside source that believes the Red Sox are going to be sellers because he listed 4 different Red Sox in this article as trade deadline candidates. Now, in this video, we're just going to focus on Alex Bregman. We'll have future videos on the other 3. But Bregman, the reason he's so big, because he was the number 1 player listed. Now, the chance of trade that Passan has is just 10%, but I can't help but think that I don't want Breggy to leave. I don't want any percentage chance of him leaving. Now, there's a couple of things you have to know, and that's where I want to talk about his contract. And we go into a quote here from earlier on, MLB's Mark Feinsand talking about it, saying, quote, "The deal, which was officially announced Saturday morning," again, this was a later report, this was a while ago, "it's $120 million and includes an opt-out after 2025 and 2026. There's also some deferrals." Now, the big thing that I want to get from this, and the reason I put this quote in the video, is because of the opt-out portion of this. He's making $40 million a year, which is a heck of a lot in the MLB. A lot of players do not make that. And there's a chance that he could opt out and go for a more long-term deal. Because during this offseason, that's what Alex Bregman wanted. He wanted a long-term deal. He wanted to be at a place for a long term. And instead, he signed a bet on himself deal, a $40 million absolute haul for him, but he has opt-outs. He has a chance where if this year, especially with the stats that he's been able to put up, that he could go out and get a long-term deal for even more money. Now, the Red Sox, because they traded Rafael Devers, have put themselves into an interesting position where if you let Alex Bregman go, this team, it's in a very interesting position. Now, trust me, I believe Jarren Duran is a leader, but Alex Bregman with the veteran status is a huge leader on this team. And if you trade him away, that leaves a lot of question marks for the young core and who they will be learning from. And so, how does Passan talk about Alex Bregman? Well, I first want to give you some insight to him. First of all, he is 31 years old. That's the reason why he's looking for that long-term contract deal. And he's had a fantastic year because his swing is built for Fenway. And a couple of things that make me believe that the Red Sox and Alex Bregman both want to keep him in Boston is because, first of all, when he signed with Boston, he had deals out there for 6 years. He had deals out there to make maybe not as much money, but sign for a longer term. But he took a chance. He wanted to be with the Red Sox. That was the team he wanted to play with. And then the second option. If you don't know, his wife Reagan actually got accepted to Harvard. And so, to my knowledge, I don't think that Alex Bregman wants to come here for a year, have his wife, have his newly born baby here, and his wife going to Harvard, and then leave. That's one. Now, the Red Sox could make the decision on their own and to say, we're going to trade you, and we apologize. Sorry that she can do her classes online, whatever. But I just have a hard time seeing the Red Sox make such a big decision to trade Rafael Devers. And I know the context behind it. And then they make that trade and not being able to go out and sign a guy like Alex Bregman, even do a contract extension. And so Jeff Passan, we go to his quotes. He says this in the article, quote, "Bregman has been an elite big league hitter since he entered the league in 2016. but has leaned more into power this year, with his highest isolated power since 2019. Most of his underlying power indicators, his barrel rate maximum, exit velo, all the underlying stats, are at career highs, end quote. Now, this is something to note because obviously when you're looking for a contract and when you're looking for money, you're going to have a pretty good time at getting some extra when you're having career highs and any sort of underlying stats. So that's step one. He is going to get a large chunk of money, and he could easily opt out this upcoming year or opt out the next year. And so the Red Sox have two options to either potentially trade him or sign him to a contract extension right now and make sure that he is here long term. Now we continue on in the article in which Passan kind of talks about why Bregman is such a big chance to get traded and also a reason why maybe he's not. He says this in his article, quote, his $40 million salary and the chance to opt into 2 more years at $40 million annually significantly shortens the list of teams that would take on his deal, end quote. Now, there's 2 things to that. One is that it definitely signifies that only a certain amount of teams are willing to take Bregman because he could easily say, hey, I'm going to opt in next year because you took that contract. So you're going to be paying me $40 million a year, not just this year or the end of this year or the rest of it. You're also going to be paying that next year and the year after that because I'm opting in. So that limits the teams right there. But it also makes it to where teams know he could opt out of this year. And if his stats are any condition of what he's going to be producing, he can get a long-term deal out there. And while it may not be for $40 million a year, he could get a more long-term, more sustainable deal. So that way, when he's 38, 39, he's still making money. And that's kind of the big thing with MLB players is sustainability in their contract. And so again, what are the likely teams to trade for Alex Bregman? Well, that's where the question comes in of who wants to take a chance on him. If you do remember, Alex Bregman suffered a pretty significant injury back a couple months ago. It seems like he's going to be back here before the All-Star break, maybe not to full strength before the All-Star break, but definitely back on the Red Sox Major League roster. Seems like a rehab assignment is a couple weeks away still. So really a question mark for his injury status as well as, what teams are going to be like, okay, he's got that $40 million contract, which he could easily opt into. He has an injury that, again, by July 31st, you would hope that we would have him on the roster long enough to where he's playing to his ability. And in my opinion, if he's back on the roster playing to his ability, the Red Sox won't be sellers by that point. They'll be buyers because Bregman is that big to this team. He would change the outlook. He would change how many wins or losses the Red Sox get in a positive manner. But who are the teams out there? Who are the teams that would maybe take the risk, so to say? Well, here they are. Best fits for Alex Bregman. At number 1, Jeff Passan lists the Chicago Cubs. At number 2, Jeff Passan, to my great demise, lists the New York Yankees. And then at number 3, he lists the New York Mets. And I'll sit here and say this right now. If Alex Bregman is traded to the New York Yankees, I'm going to lose my mind. And so, here's my quote. Please, dear God, do not trade Alex Bregman at all, and especially not to the Yankees. I just want my sanity, and I cannot handle if we traded Alex Bregman to the Yankees and had to then play him in September for, I don't care if we're not even vying for a playoff spot. If we have to play Alex Bregman on the Yankees when we sign him to the contract, I would lose it. I cannot imagine that, much less trading him at all. I don't want that to happen whatsoever. And for the Red Sox, they shouldn't want it to happen either. You signed this guy in the hopes that he would come out here and do exactly what he's been doing. If you are Craig Breslow, who, by the way, he was not in favor of getting Alex Bregman. It was John Henry. It was Alex Cora. Sam Kennedy even had a part in it. There was the MLB people inside the Red Sox organization not named Craig Breslow that wanted Alex Bregman. Craig didn't. That's why they signed him to a 3-year, $40 million a year deal instead of a long-term contract, because he didn't want to sign the long-term contract because the model doesn't say that. Screw your dang model. Sign Alex Bregman. Extend him right now, because I'll tell you this. The Red Sox, again, they are a good team. With Bregman, they're an even better team. And the fan base right now, after trading Rafael Devers and the potential to trade names like Jarren Duran or Aroldis Chapman or Walker Buehler or Alex Bregman, if you trade Duran and Bregman, you will lose a significant amount of this fan base. It will be a tough time for Craig Breslow, and I don't want to see a Red Sox team that has just lost Rafael Devers that then loses Duran or Alex Bregman. Now, Duran is more likely to be traded, but Bregman was a top 5 hitter in the AL before he went down. He is going to be fine. Please, 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 Craig Breslow, do not trade Alex Bregman. Let me know your thoughts on this recent article from Jeff Passan. As I said, we'll have more videos covering the 3 other MLB trade candidates from the Red Sox that Passan listed. If you were paying attention to the show, I listed them 3 just those 3 a couple minutes ago. Yeah, hint, wink, wink. We'll give you videos on all that. So make sure you're subscribed. It's a fun time in the MLB. I'll say that. It's a fun time. There's a lot of speculation, a lot of talk, a lot of things going on. But at the same time, it is a very stressful time because the Red Sox need to start winning now so that selling ideology doesn't come into play. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section. How would you feel if the Red Sox traded Alex Bregman? How would you feel if he got traded to the Yankees? I certainly would not feel good. That's all I got for you today. Once again, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of the week. And for now, we'll see you next time here from Boston. Peace out.